Hi, and welcome to the Man Cave Cinema Rant. This is episode 78 of the Man Cave Cinema Rant. And today we're going to be talking about stuff that we've been sort of doing on the website right now, like your fondest memories of retro games when you were young. That's the main thing that we want to talk about. And what I'm going to talk about is my own experience first, because right now we have two good stories on the Man Cave Cinema website that talks about when we were young and we got these systems and how excited we were and how much fun it is. And this is not really a rant, but just sort of a discussion to get things started, because it's actually quite fun reading about people's first times and what have you. So it's pretty exciting. Just to let everybody know, our podcast with Brian is every 2 weeks. So this coming weekend is going to be our, what is it, I think our third podcast. That's not including the introduction podcast that I did just introducing the thing. Also, if you want to take us on the road, we are on iTunes. Just search for the Man Cave Cinema. And also we are on Google Play Music for you Android fans, and you can pull us from there. Again, search for the Man Cave Cinema and it will come up. Other than that, let's get started. So what I want to talk about, okay? Before I got my Atari 2600, which was a mind-blowing day, okay? I had a neighbor who borrowed an Intellivision from a friend, and he had it all hooked up and invited me over. And we played Advanced D&D, and we played some poker, and I think that was about it. I think there was just two games. And I was just blown away by that, because at that point I used to go to the arcades quite a bit. There was an arcade in Montreal that was literally about 2-3 kilometers away from my house. I used to hop on my bike with maybe a quarter, 50 cents, and just go spend the whole afternoon there, chatting with people, meeting up with friends, hanging out, and then, playing a game or two, and then calling it quits and coming home type of thing. I mean, back then I didn't have a lot of money, so, it was more of a social thing, but still, it was a ton of fun. I mean, a couple of quarters here and there made the day type of thing. So, the same friend also picked up a Commodore 64 that Christmas, and which was also really exciting. He ended up what did we do? We played, there was several, Choplifter, yes. We played Choplifter that we had to load up via tape, or, with those little tape decks with that you put in the program in, which took forever to load. But once it loaded, I mean, back then your eyes boom, opened up, and it was like super exciting to play, and that was a lot of fun. Playing Choplifter was just a blast. Going up, fighting all these things, landing, picking up your guys, taking off, going back to the base, dropping them off, and keep on going back and forth. Great gameplay, great game, great graphics back then, by the way. And then he had sort of a D&D game, which I can't remember what the hell it was called, but you were a guy with a bow and arrow walking through a forest on a quest. If anybody remembers what it is, let me know. So that was a lot of fun. And then I believe either that Christmas or the next Christmas, and I think that was either 1982 or 1983, probably 83. We normally go to our relatives in Ottawa for Christmas, and my aunt and uncle got myself and my cousin Mike, who's the middle cousin of the three of them. Both of us got an Atari 2600. Mind blown. For a kid who was super excited about video games or what have you, to get that, it was just amazing. And what I found out a little bit later was that's when Atari, especially in Canada, dropped the price of the 2600 below $100. So it was $99.99, and at that point it was affordable. Before that, people who had an Atari 2600 didn't buy them in Canada. Everybody cross-border shopped and got it cheaper in the US and brought them back home. That was the big thing. A lot of people did that. So once we got that Atari that Christmas, literally I mean, with all the other relatives that showed up, we were playing that thing almost 24/7, and the only game that we had was combat. So it was a blast playing with some other with your other cousin type of thing, or the cousin you didn't really like too much, and blast the crap out of him playing combat. So it was just a ton of fun, and it was exciting to play. And then another thing that I want to bring up. Oh yeah, and before also that I got my Atari, I had a really close friend from school that I grew up with who ended up getting, or maybe I had my Atari. Anyway, he ended up getting a ColecoVision. Now, the best part about the ColecoVision that I love so much, they had a version of Zaxxon, which was back then my favorite game. I used to pump in a shit ton of quarters in that game just because the isometric plane flying around, shooting, going into space, just flippin' unbelievable. And then playing it on ColecoVision using their version or their rendition of it, which was super close to the arcade, was just exciting beyond belief. Okay, had a lot of fun. Now, another memory I like to bring up is, again, being in Canada, growing up in Montreal, a little town called Plattsburgh, New York, which actually I found out later. Well, actually, I found out back then too, that had an Air Force base there, loaded with B-52s for the Cold War. And then on top of that, and this I found out maybe 2-3 years ago, and this was kind of cool, but they're all decommissioned now, was a missile silo base over there too, that was spread up all throughout upstate New York, if you want to call it. And they're all decommissioned now. But the scary thing was, it's like, you know what? That's only an hour away from Montreal. Kind of scary back then. Anyway. So what we used to go, we also hop in the car. It used to be a whole bunch of families. We used to go down. People wanted to buy stuff that was cheaper back in the United States. So it was an hour's drive from Montreal to Plattsburgh, New York. We'd go eat Pizza Hut, because there was no Pizza Hut back then in in Montreal and Canada. And so we ate Pizza Hut, and then afterwards we went to Pyramid Mall. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but this place was like the coolest mall ever. They had the best arcade in the mall. They had games way before we had them back in Montreal. It was just like that. It's not like now that we're just free. There's free trade between U.S. and Canada, and whatever gets into the United States comes to Canada right away. Back then, it wasn't like that. We had to wait months, maybe years, to get stuff like that. Even to this day, we don't have a lot of the stuff that you guys have that we don't have up here. But anyways, that's a different story. So they had the coolest arcade. I mean, I played Exevious there for the first time. I played the old Atari Red Baron for the first time, which was a sit-down cockpit type, which blew my mind. And then the best part of it, and this was like 84, so that's when things started going south in the video game business, but the deals to be had on games was unbelievable. So there used to be a KB Toys on the other end of the mall, and they used to have this basket and just tons of games in there. For I don't remember how much they were, but the one game that I do remember picking up, and I've never seen this before because the only games I saw before in Montreal was Atari and Activision, and I got my hands on iMagic's Atlantis. And I had looked at that box and was just totally impressed with it. Looked at the back, the gameplay looked interesting. Took it home, again, boom, blown away. Such a fun game, so easy to play, but the gameplay was excellent, and trying to get the high score when things were just flying by so fast that it was just incredible. Had lots of fun. And then one more story that I want to bring up, and this is between my brother and I, if he watches this. We used to also go to the Boston area, to Cape Cod, with my family, because my family, being Greek, loved the ocean and loved fishing. And the closest place, which was 6 hours away, that had ocean was Cape Cod, and we used to go there. And at the same time, my brother and I used to go Atari game hunting, and this is when they released the Real Sports games. So we ended up picking up Real Sports Soccer and Real Sports Football, and Real Sports Football was our favorite game, to the point where we just about played it every time. And then when my brother would lose, he'd whip one of those, I don't know what they call the CX60 joystick right to my head because he'd be so pissed off. He's not like that anymore, trust me. But I can tell there's welling, anger underneath his smiley exterior when we play these games. We haven't played it yet, but I want to bring him over so we can play some real sports football and remember the good old days type of thing. Anyways, that's it, folks. Man Cave Cinema. This is episode 78 of The Rant. No rant today, but please visit our store. Check us out. We got tons of games on there to sell. Atari, ColecoVision television. We also have the Coleco set-top mini arcade machines for sale. So I know it's summer, everybody's outside, but if you got a hankering for this stuff and you want to find a good deal and not get ripped off by eBay and Craigslist in the US and Kijiji here in Canada, check out our site, themancavecinema.ca, and we'll help you out. And me, as the shipper and what a receiver and everything, I will bend over backwards for my customers. Plain and simple. Anyways, take care, everybody, and happy Father's Day. Bye-bye.